So rich people say, you poor people out there, you just need to go out and get an education and you need to pull yourself up and get a good job and you'll have the money to buy everything that you need and want in life. However, the reality is much different today. First of all, when you go out into the world, the first thing you encounter is traffic. It's everywhere, and it's insane at this point. So while you're sitting in traffic, the guy next to you might be in a luxury car, but you're all sitting in traffic. You're having the same experience. And where's everybody going? Well, first of all, they're going to work. And work is the place where you produce more things out of resources so that you can put them in stores. And that's the other place everybody's going. They're not going to work, they're going to the store. So you go into a store these days, especially the large big box stores, but really any store, and what are they doing in there? Well, they've gathered some resources together, or a crazy amount of resources, and they've packaged them up to be attractive, and they're selling them to you. So you go in the store and you get the things you need and you want, and you go back out and you get in your car and you sit in traffic so that you can go to the other place that you have, and that's your dwelling, your home. And there you're supposed to pursue your dreams. And for most people, for the majority of people, that means raising a family, which means bringing more people into this process of sitting in traffic so they can go to jobs that they usually hate, so that they can then sit in traffic so that they can go to the store, so that they can sit in traffic so that they can then go home and pursue their dreams. Now, some people pursue their dreams by getting more education so that they can get more money, so that they can spend more time in traffic in better cars, so that they can go to the store and buy better quality things, but it's all the same process. You know, if somebody is sitting in traffic to get to their luxury private jet, they're still sitting in traffic. And then when they fly to where they're going, they're still having the same experience. They're going to a store so they can buy things, and then they're going to a dwelling so that they can have a little bit of private time, but it's still the same process. Check this out sometime. Go on to Google Street Maps and pick any 10 cities. Pick 20. Beijing, Moscow, Lagos, Stockholm, New York, Kansas City, Taipei, Sydney, just at random. Pick as many cities as you want, and then get the little guy and drive around the streets. And what do you see? Well, they all look pretty much the same. The languages are different, and there may be some minor cultural differences at this point. But basically, there are roads and freeways and cars and airports and office buildings and apartment buildings and lots of stores, so that this process of sitting in traffic, going to your job, sitting in traffic, going to the store, sitting in traffic, going home, breeding more children, rinse and repeat, continues and continues and continues. Okay, here's another thing to do. Next time you go into a store, especially if you go into like a really big store, like a big box store, a big corporate store, just stop for a second and just randomly pick things up and think about how that product was made and the resources it took to make it. And then think that the store you're in is just one of tens and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, all around the world, selling products that are made from resources. And the next time you're in traffic, think about this too, that everybody beside you is going to work so that we can gather more resources to fill up these stores. So everybody's having the same experience, whether you're in Russia or parts of Africa or down in South America. Every place is perpetuating the same process. But you have to remember that those products do require resources. And at the moment, we are coming to the end of many of those resources that it takes to fill those stores. So if you don't have resources, then there's no need to sit in traffic because there is no job and there are no stores. And I guess what I'm saying here is that if you can gather this awareness of the process that you're in right now, you can begin to see that it can be rearranged so that A, it's not so destructive to the ecology and the resources of the planet, and that B, you are not required, there is nothing stopping you from, first of all, stopping your breeding process. Think before you have more children. Wear a condom. And secondly, there's no one forcing you to go into stores to buy things that you don't need. And you can tailor that down too. But mostly, I think this discussion, first of all, I think this discussion is on the table all around the world because I think people all around the world are seeing that we're running out of resources and that this entire process, rich or poor, whether you're flying in a private jet or you're sitting in some funky old car, we all are getting it, that this process is taking up more resources than the planet has to offer. But that's good to know that. I mean, because then you can begin to imagine, because imagination at this point is vital. How can this be different? What can I do that might be different? And then as a world community, how can we change this process? First of all, so that everyone is not miserable, because at the moment everybody's miserable because no one is ever satisfied. You can never have enough. You know, that's the whole misery of this. And secondly, everybody knows that this is an end game. And it doesn't have to be this way. There are ways to live within the ecology of this planet that are not so destructive, but they require people questioning their breeding habits and questioning their shopping habits. So yeah, check it out. Go into Google Street Maps and drive all around the world and see how we're living right now. And then go into a store, pick up items at random, and think about how it was made, what it took to make it, and how many resources are left to keep it on the shelf.